Alright, getting back to work on the old GC coupe here. Kind of just diving into the not so fun stuff to do. I've been cleaning up subframes, getting bushings out. Just got this one, first one out, so figured out how I'm going to do them and figured I'll film the rest of it. So I hole sawed out the center and then cut a groove in it with the Sawzall, and came out fairly decent actually. Didn't take as long as I thought it would, so I got one more to do on the T-brace, or whatever you want to consider this, diff support, I don't know. And then the actual diff support in the GD subframe, I get these bushings out of here too, because got new ones hopefully coming in next week, and then clean these up and get them painted. And then also I got the subframes primered the other day, so maybe get those painted today too. But it's kind of gross outside. It's like barely 60 degrees actually. At least it feels like it's barely 60 degrees. My phone says it's like 63, but it's just cold out here, so may have to wait till tomorrow to paint this stuff, but we will see. Get these bushings out today and at least get them ready. So alright, so after a few hours of wire wheeling, finally got this piece in primer, ready for paint once it dries up nicely. Still kind of crappy out, decided to paint anyway. So, also, the subframes turned out really good. Look at them things. On camera, they're probably going to look 10 out of 10, but they're probably like a, 6 out of 10. But they'll be underneath the car, but either way, a lot nicer than what they were, especially that rear one. That thing was crusty. The front one wasn't too bad, but definitely was crusty still. And yeah, there's obviously a lot of work to still do on this thing, but I don't really want to work on it today. The painting is just something I wanted to get done, but what I really want to do is maybe throw this back on the silver car and see if it actually runs better. I'm really not happy with how that car's been running since I modified the exhaust. So I think it's time to put this back on it and then just merge this up to the Cobb 3-inch compared to the WRX header that I made with no cats. And yeah, it's got no low end. It bogs really bad until you hit about $4,000, and it never did that with the cats in it. So I think we're going to at least put them back in, see what happens. Maybe later on I will merge the cats into the WRX header, but the angle that it comes out here, I'd really have to make like a weird pipe that loops around, or cut it here and then just block this off. But I don't know, that's a lot of nonsense. Not going to mess with it for now. Could be kind of neat though, actually, now that I'm pondering that, because I didn't think of that before, but either way, I'm going to pull all the heat shields off of this, and I guess we'll see what this turns into, but that might actually be kind of neat. Dang it. Alright, so yeah, maybe we'll just be lopping this off and blocking it and have it just do a U-turn into the cats and into the Cobb. I don't know. I'm going to move the Cummins, get the coupe pulled up here, and see what kind of nonsense I can figure out. That's how she currently sounds. That is no cats. So let's see what I can cobble together this time. Get the car moved up over here and start having some fun. So midsection is pulled out of the car. This is the one that I made earlier this spring for it. Please don't mind the welds. I did not have the welder chooching that day, so but I have it lined up with the transmission mount and the flange, and I don't know, that might work. It's gonna have this goofy bend in it. I'll lop it off here and kind of roll these edges around and weld her shut nice maybe, and relocate my O2 sensor to back here again compared to up here where it would be in a WRX, because that might be throwing it off too. I don't know. So we'll move the O2 sensors back to the correct locations. That one will be basically where it's supposed to be anyway, but yeah. Should be interesting. I kind of thought about using the one off the green car there, but it's slightly smaller piping. So this section's the same, but out the cat's smaller. So we're gonna just send it and hack up the factory one from the car, because who cares? No going back now anyway. So yeah, here's version 2 to my WRX header NA setup. Sounds really goofy, but yeah. To anybody who didn't see the first part of this, I'll try and get under here and show it. So I took a WRX header, so I had to cut it. I had to remove the flange that would come from this second piece here, removed that, welded it down, and then made a little dent to clear the thermostat. Obviously then it comes around like it would factory. Then I had to take the flange here, cut it off, and rotate it down to clear the subframe, and then come out factory to meet up to my Cobb 3-inch out there. So yeah, it works pretty good. There's no leaks in it. Haven't had any issues that way. So it's just kind of neat. It was a fun little project because I had all the extra pieces laying around. So gonna continue to try and make it work, I suppose. So here comes version 2. This is just all out of a extra downpipe I had laying around, so just probably gonna keep this flange here and weld that onto there so that it can bolt up factory and keep going from there. See what we can get into with this one. So here's what I came up with. That is quite the interesting exhaust, but it's going to meet up to the WRX header I made, and then it flows right back into the factory section, and then made this here to adapt to the Cobb 3-inch. So yeah, this is just the factory header. I cut it, got it all welded shut there. Still flows pretty decent. I'm very curious if that's going to add any sound or tone to this. I've never seen anybody do that, so I'm definitely excited to see what it will do. Obviously there's going to be cats in it, so it's going to be a lot quieter, so may add some sound effect to it and it may do nothing for it. We are going to find out. Well, time for the first start on this setup. See how this is going to sound. I would say that's nice and subtle. Funny. Till I get this thing on the ground, maybe wash her up.